Students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great weekend so far wherever you are in this beautiful world. Students, today in this class we are looking at IELTS Writing Task 2 Band 9 paragraphs. Specifically, we are looking at body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion for the task 2 essay of the IELTS exam for both the academic and the general version. And the reason being is that academic and general versions are very, very similar for task 2. Not for task 1 though. Task 1's a little bit different. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. Welcome to our members, Paulo, Jainil, Rajveer. Good to see so many students in the class. Hi, Royal, Romesh. Hi, Ak. Hi, Harpreet. Nice to see everyone. Students, as we get going here, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have tons and tons of information to help you score better on your next IELTS exam. This is our academic IELTS website here. All you need to do is click this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. We are a British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents. When you do that, you have a My Student account, and in your My Student account, you have Task 1, Task 2 writing help. You'll see these big green buttons, so you can get editing work there. And for the general IELTS, it's the green background at gieltshelp.com. But wait, there's even more. Today and tomorrow we have a very special deal. We have our Black Friday 40% discount off of our premium package. It's the best deal of the year, so it's a great time to take IELTS. But it is definitely a great time to get our course. Again, that's a 40% discount. All you have to do is use the code BLKFDAY to get that 40% discount when you're checking out on our websites. We do provide the world's most popular IELTS learning course. We have the most popular IELTS YouTube channel with the most subscriptions, and we're proud of that, and we want to help you achieve success on your next test. If you have questions, just send me an email to Adrian at aehelp.com. That's my name, at aehelp.com, and I will gladly answer any questions that you have. So let's get into today's class. Again, we are doing writing task 2 today, and tomorrow we'll have reading and speaking classes as well. This is the question, the task 2 question that we started yesterday. So the task 2 question is, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people believe that quick forms of entertainment like 1-minute movies create problems concentrating on long tasks for youngsters. Others feel that this is harmless fun and youth still have a good ability to focus and pay attention. Which do you believe and why? Support your answers with explanations and examples from your experience. Okay, so yesterday we read this question, we analyzed this question, we thought about some good ideas, and then we came up with some answers. Okay, so the topic of this question is quick forms of entertainment for youth, and the controlling idea is the effect of short forms of entertainment on young people's concentration. Okay, and then we got all the way to the introduction. Here is our introductory paragraph. This is just a little bit of review to catch everybody up. So the introduction It has a hook, a background, and a thesis. It has 3 parts, okay? Hook, background, thesis. And I don't care who says what, so sometimes, I hear like, oh, my teacher says that you don't need a hook in the IELTS. Well, it depends on your goal. If you want to get a band 6, maybe a 6.5, you don't necessarily need a hook. But if you want to get a higher score like band 7 or a band 8, definitely a band 9, you need a hook. Okay, good writing, good essays have a hook. It's not Adrian saying this. It's standard English essay writing rules that say this, okay? So if you ask any teacher and you say, what's the rule of essay writing for a persuasive style essay, that's a task 2 essay, the rule book says, have a hook, catch your audience, introduce the topic, okay? So it's very, very, very important, okay? All right. Okay, so I know that some people did their homework. If you have an introductory paragraph, you can share it now. Paulo, I see that you have an exam tomorrow. Again, take a deep breath. It's not the last exam in the universe. Just remember that. So worst case scenario, you can sit the exam on another day again. And just stay confident. Imagine I'm there with you if that helps. Okay, and good luck on your exam tomorrow. Meanwhile, Ahmed says it's really hard to write a relevant hook. Ahmed, it's not that bad. Just think about the topic when you write your hook. So in this question, our topic was quick forms of entertainment for youth. When you identify the topic, you just have to write a simple fact about the topic. So in my hook, I wrote, millions of youth spend significant portions of their days with short forms of entertainment. And we see that, right? Like you see lots of young people swiping through their phones on Instagram, swiping up and down, swiping left and right. And they're looking for these kind of quick videos, funny memes. So simple hook. Millions of youth spend significant portions of their days with short forms of entertainment. And then comes the background. Many companies produce short videos, pictures, and it's not just companies, right? If I review this, many individuals, right? And companies produce short videos, pictures, and other content to cater to children's curious nature and desire for instant gratification. Instant gratification is immediate fun, so fun right away. And then here is my thesis. I believe that short forms of amusement do have a negative impact on children's attention spans, as it's both addictive and distracting in ways that prevent long-term concentration. Okay, so addictive is my first point. Okay, and distracting is my second point. Let me pick a little bit of a different color there. Okay. So addictive is point 1. Let's put that in brackets. So this is point 1. And then distracting is point 2. So that's why I'm saying that it's negative. Okay. All right, so that's what I have to write about in my body paragraphs. Okay, so when it gets to writing body paragraphs, that's what I have to write about. 31 Al-Yar says, the problem of short forms of entertainment, which has always been debatable, has now become more controversial, with many people believing that it distracts the mind from long-term tasks. 31, that's a good idea. Try to write that in a shorter way. The start of your sentence seems like there's too many words. You don't need so many words, okay? So write it a little bit shorter. Rajveer writes, youngsters spend many hours each day to have fun watching short forms of amusement. That's really good for the hook, Rajveer. Okay, good work there. All right, so let's get into body paragraph 1. Okay, body paragraph 1 has to be about addiction. So body 1, it's my point 1, right? Point one. And my point one here is addiction. So what we need here is a deeper definition of being addicted to quick entertainment. Okay, so for your topic sentence, take the idea of young people becoming addicted to short forms of entertainment, and this is a problem for attention, and then explain that. So give a nice definition. Okay, so define that. What does it mean? Think about it this way, like, what does it mean that young people get addicted to short forms of entertainment? Now think about the physical aspect, right? So yesterday I mentioned that you can think about human behavior or our actions as both physical and mental, right? So right now I'm using my hands to physically emphasize my ideas, but I'm also using my voice and my vocabulary, my mental ability, to emphasize ideas as well. So you can always think of behavior on these 2 points or on these 2 marks, okay? So let's see what you come up with for your topic sentence, okay? So this first deeper definition of point one, this is your topic sentence, all right? Your topic sentence. The topic here is it's bad because it's addictive and it leads to problems with concentration. Okay, all right. So 31 says the problem of short forms of entertainment. Okay, that's from before. Let's see some new ones. Okay. Mi Yen writes, consuming fast forms of amusement may result in addiction. Those who are addicted to these kinds of entertainment may just sit around at home spending all day long on such videos or messages instead of hanging out with friends, playing sports, or learning a new language, which could be much better. So Mian, that's kind of like your whole paragraph, your whole body paragraph almost. Just focus on the topic sentence. And Mian, try not to repeat the word addiction. So when you're defining a word, you don't want to repeat the same word. Okay, because then you're not really giving more help to your reader or the audience. So what is addiction? Okay, just think about this. What is addiction? Okay, Ai Chinyere. Okay. You can, Aravindian, include 3 body paragraphs for task 2, but it's not always necessary. Okay. All right, one of our students is writing, after a few intervals, their mind tends to pull towards the mobile phone for entertainment through short videos and causes distraction, which decreases efficiency. Too many ideas in the topic sentence. We just want to focus on addiction. Okay, Deep Singh says that it becomes habitual behavior. Yeah, very good, Deep Singh. Okay, so short forms of entertainment can become a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when it is not available and they are not getting this stimulus, or let's say stimuli, frequently after let's just stop there. All right. So yeah, so addiction is when we need the input or when we need that behavior again and again, okay? And I like that word habitual, okay? Habitual means that we do it again and again. Addictions are both psychological and often physical as well, and it's proven now that people do have physical addiction even to activities like video games or like social media. So people actually will have increased heart rate, increased blood pressure and stress when they get addicted to video games, when they get addicted to social media, and when that is removed. So all you have to do is picture this and then explain it using the vocabulary that you have. So short forms of entertainment can become a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when it is no longer available and they're not getting this stimuli frequently. Okay? All right. Good. So now we need to explain that. Okay? So we need to give an explanation. All right? And when you think about the explanation, you need to think about, like, well, what do you mean? Okay? So what do you mean short forms of entertainment become habitual? Okay? So many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts can build up a neurological dependence on this entertainment, and their body craves this more and more. Okay? So I'm basically explaining what I mean by this. So many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts can build up a neurological dependence on this entertainment. Now, if you don't know the word neurological, you could take a simpler word like physical. Okay? So if you have the vocabulary, use it. If you don't know that vocabulary, use the vocabulary that you have. Okay? There are simple ways to express even very complicated ideas. You just have to use what you know. All right? So many youth spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and this can build up a neurological dependence on this entertainment, and their bodies craves this more and more. Crave means to really want something, like want this more and more. Okay? All right? And then comes an example. All right? So the example is something from the real world. This question is asking for your opinion, and the original question way back up at the top here, it says, support your answers with explanations and examples from your experience. Okay, from your experience means from the real world, so from what you know. Okay, all right. Now, so far so good. However, I'm missing something here. Okay, what am I missing? So when I'm looking at this, and this is why it's really good to look back at the original question, I'm actually missing something from this. What am I missing? Okay, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to read Paulo's writing. So Paulo writes, it is quite easy to become addicted to short forms of entertainment when people have instant access to all this type of content. Because this type of content releases lots of good neurotransmitters. Youngsters tend to spend more and more time consuming quick videos, memes, and messages, and this becomes a serious need for their minds and bodies. Okay, very nice, Paulo. Very nice writing. Okay, I like it. And Deep Singh says it's dopamine. Yeah, you can write dopamine. Absolutely, Deep Singh. Good. Okay, so what am I missing here? And Teng Ha says quantitative language. Yeah, I'm missing that a little bit, I think, as well. Rajveer, very good. So Rajveer says you're actually missing some of the controlling idea. You're missing the idea of issues with concentration. Okay. Yeah, so you're right, Rajveer. Remember, the original controlling idea is that it's bad for concentration, and I'm not emphasizing that here. So I have to put that in somewhere, okay? So short forms of entertainment can be a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when it is no longer available and they are getting these stimuli frequently. This stress leads to an inability to focus on long tasks. Okay, so now I have that controlling idea, all right? Many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts build up a neurological dependence on this entertainment, and their body craves this more and more, so they are not able to complete hour-long tasks like school work. Okay, one word, I believe, schoolwork. Okay, so now I have my controlling idea in my topic sentence and my explanation, which is the ability to concentrate. Okay, so now I'm on the right track, and now I'm going to get a much better band score because the IELTS examiner goes, oh, okay, they're talking about the reason this is bad and how it affects concentration. Okay, and now I can write a much better example as well. Go ahead, viewers, write your example, and then we'll compare the examples. Okay, so my cousin John, right? Okay, so just a simple example. My cousin John is often looking at memes and reels on his phone instead of doing his schoolwork because otherwise he becomes depressed. Okay, so there is my example, and now I have a concluding sentence. Clearly, this is one way that quick forms of fun are bad for the attention span. Okay, so there we go. That's my connecting, concluding sentence. And when you're doing this at home, you want to now read the whole body paragraph. Make sure that it's smooth. Make sure that you don't have repetition of ideas or words. And make sure that you have all of the topic and the controlling idea in point one in that body paragraph. Point one, again, from the introduction is that it's addictive, okay? And it's often a good idea to read your introduction together with your body paragraph one. So let me do that now, and then I'll look at some of the examples in our chat as well. So millions of youth spend significant portions of their days with short forms of entertainment. Many individuals and companies produce short videos, pictures, and other content to cater to children's curious nature and desire for instant gratification. I believe that short forms of amusement do have a negative impact on children's attention spans, as it's both addictive and distracting in ways that prevent long-term concentration. The short forms of entertainment can become a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when it is no longer available and they are not getting these stimuli frequently. This stress leads to an inability to focus on long tasks. Many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts build up a neurological dependence on this, and their body craves this more and more so that they are not able to complete hour-long tasks like schoolwork. My cousin John is often looking at memes and reels on his phone instead of doing his, instead of schoolwork, let's go with homework. Because otherwise he becomes depressed. Clearly this is one way that quick forms of fun are bad for the attention span. Okay, good. I could clean this up more. I could shorten it even more, be even more concise, but I'm going to leave it for now. It's good enough for a nice high band score, and I'm going to go on to body paragraph 2. And body paragraph 2 will continue with the same kind of structure of topic, sentence, explanation, example. Okay, you don't really need a connecting sentence, except you're focusing on the second key point. The second key point here is that it's distracting. So this is kind of the psychological part of this equation. Okay, so body 2. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat and what some people have written. Okay. All the way back here. Mirzan writes, a survey suggests that adults who spend a lot of time in entertaining videos might be a victim of cardiovascular disease. It's a bit awkward, Mirzan. The biggest problem here is that you're saying that adults. The question is focusing on youth, so don't lose the subject of your essay, okay? If the essay is asking you about children, don't accidentally switch to adults, especially in the example, okay? But don't switch to adults, all right? Paulo writes, what happens is that when someone is bored or is overwhelmed for some reason, it is almost an automatic action to grab the smartphone and dive into social media, video platforms, and instant message apps. Paulo, that's good. I would probably use that for the next body paragraph, the distracting. So it's important to keep it separate. And Paulo, in your exam, make sure that you're not using contractions. So it is instead of it's, okay? Has not instead of hasn't, okay? So don't use contractions, all right? Okay. Deep Singh says the youth will be youth is unable to understand new concepts as they keep thinking about what they saw on Instagram Reels. Deep, good. Deep, don't jump to the future, so don't use will keep, okay? So youth keep on thinking. Keep the essay in present tense as much as possible. Avoid using will, okay? That's a strategy in good essay writing because you want your reader to always think that your opinion is happening now, not in the future. Because then it's kind of like, oh, well, I'll believe you when it's the future. No, you want me to believe you right now, okay? So always keep it in the present. Avoid using will, all right? Ahmed says, this is because these kinds of short entertainments have been created to attract users to their stories, colors, and graphic effects. Okay, Ahmed, I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I think you could use that for some part of the essay. All right? Okay. So Moonlight is asking, is it allowed to give examples that are directly related to the writer? I mean, personal. Yeah, it's called first-person voice in writing when you write I believe or in my opinion. And Moonlight, it is allowed to do that. There is no rule in IELTS that you cannot write your essay using the first-person voice. You just have to make sure that you know how to do that, okay? So use it well, all right? Barbara says, social media applications become popular nowadays, and any person can create a quick clip and upload it to the internet. They can watch and make a comment with emojis. For instance, my younger brother spends 6 to 7 hours to cover a news scoop over social media, and this has become habitual. However, most juveniles, around 45%, are online 24 hours, according to ABC News. Bakra, you don't need to jump from example to example. Stay with one example and add how that is a problem for concentration. Okay. HGG, yes, paraphrasing is very important for both task 1 and for task 2. Okay. All right. Blueberry had a response there, but I think it's gone. Cass writes, for instance, my nephew Caden spends many hours watching videos on YouTube instead of reading books because he is addicted to it. He is behaving unruly after this happens. Okay, Cass, good. Connect, stay on topic, all right? Okay, body paragraph 2, everyone. So it's distracting. Okay, so let's explain that. So topic sentence. Okay. Topic sentence has to be about the fact that it is distracting. Okay. So you write your topic sentence, I'll write a topic sentence, and then we'll compare. Okay. So okay, so here we go. Here is my topic sentence. So quick media fun is extremely bad for youth to pay attention for longer durations as it constantly interrupts the activity with sounds and notifications. Okay, so here comes my explanation. Okay, so that was my topic sentence. Now it's the explanation. And again, body paragraphs is just topic, sentence, explanation, example. Topic, sentence, explanation, example. And if you're really worried about using the first person voice, like I, me, my, your teacher said don't do it, you know what? At the end of the day, you don't have to. You can use a third person voice. So, but just make sure that you're using the third person voice throughout the whole essay. Okay? So, here we go with the explanation. All right, so here we go. Quick media fun is extremely bad for youth to pay attention for longer durations as it constantly interrupts the activity with sounds and notifications. Since the widespread use of mobile devices, youth have been getting pings and vibrations in their pockets, drawing their attention to the latest posts and their friends' messages, which they look at instead of paying attention to their teachers and responsibilities. A teenager these days gets an average of 200 notifications each day. And then I'm going to continue with my example that I started in my last body paragraph. So my example was my cousin John. Okay, so all right. So there is my second body paragraph, okay? Focusing on the concept of distracting. Now again, when you're at home, students, and you're practicing for task 2, what I recommend doing is continuously rereading the question, rereading your paragraphs, okay? So at this point, I would probably go back, reread my question, and this is for practice. This is to really just train your brain, train your mind to think correctly about the question and do the best possible or write the best possible. So I would reread the question here. Okay, so many people believe that quick forms of entertainment like 1-minute movies create problems concentrating on long tasks for youngsters. Others feel that this is harmless fun and youth still have a good ability to focus and pay attention. Which do you believe and why? Support your answers with explanations and examples from your experience. Millions of youth spend significant portions of their days with short forms of entertainment. Many individuals and companies produce short videos, pictures, and other content to cater to children's curious nature and desire for instant gratification. I believe that short forms of amusement do have a negative impact on children's attention spans as it's both addictive and distracting in ways that prevent long-term concentration. I would probably take this out of my thesis at this point because it's clear from my body paragraph, from the background and the hook, okay? Short forms of entertainment can become a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when it is no longer available and they are not getting these stimuli frequently, okay? I would probably take this out because this is a bit redundant. So especially when they are not getting these stimuli frequently. This stress leads to an inability to focus on long tasks. Many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts build up a neurological dependence on this, and their body craves this more and more, so they are not able to complete hour-long tasks like schoolwork. My cousin John is often looking at memes and reels on his phone instead of doing his homework because otherwise he becomes depressed. Clearly, this is one way that quick forms of fun are bad for the attention span. Okay, now that paragraph reads much better. So you're always making improvements, students. That's super important. Quick media fun is extremely bad for youth to pay attention for longer durations as it constantly interrupts the activity with sounds and notifications. Since the widespread use of mobile devices, youth have been getting pings and vibrations in their pockets, drawing their attention to the latest posts and their friends' messages, which they look at instead of paying attention to their teachers and responsibilities. A teenager these days gets an average of 200 notifications each day. My cousin John was sent home from school last week because he interrupted the class several times by playing with his phone. Okay. And I would probably take that piece out here because it's getting a little bit long and it's not necessarily important. It's understood from that sentence. Okay. Clearly, this is another negative impact of quick media amusement. I don't really need that because I'm about to write the conclusion. Okay, and I bet some of you are thinking, whoa, Adrian, that's getting really long. Yeah, and if you feel like your essay is getting too long and it's not something you can do in the real IELTS, you have to practice writing just the important ideas within 300, 350 words. The minimum is 250, but 250 is not enough for a high band score. Okay, so now you write the conclusion. But before we get to the conclusion, I'd like to see what's happening in the chat and what some other students have written for body paragraph 2. So let's take a look. Okay. So Paulo writes, my cousin Roberto, 15 years old, tends to spend all his time watching Instagram and TikTok videos when his mother's not making him do his schoolwork. Okay, even though she complains about it, he just cannot help himself. Yeah, and he cannot help himself, period, Paulo. You don't need the rest. Okay, very nice. All right. Okay, so Harwinder has some writing here. Let me show you how an IELTS examiner will look at this, Harwinder. Okay, here we go. Let me just grab what you wrote here, Harwinder, and then I'll show you how an IELTS examiner evaluates your work, okay? All right, so I've put it all together. This is Harwinder's paragraph here. Thank you, Harwinder, for this wonderful piece of writing that we're going to look at and analyze. Okay. So let me just make it a little bit easier to read for everyone. So this is what Harwinder wrote. Okay. So instantaneous form of entertainment is a great distraction for youngsters because with any beep for notification can lead to these mind-devastating features, as there are a lot of applications today that push notification on lock screen. Therefore, there is high probability to fall into that trap. For instance, my friend and me sit down for a school assignment at home with a lot of ting-tongs. He ended up using his smartphone. This distracts him and we consume much time than needed. Okay, so you have great ideas here, Harwinder. You want to really focus on good grammar, Harwinder. Okay. All right, let me see if I have, yeah, okay. So here we go. This is what an IELTS examiner is thinking. They're not going to do this because they don't get paid to edit, but they're able to edit in their mind while they're looking at your work, okay? So instantaneous forms, it's a plural, okay? So this should be a plural. Okay, so instantaneous forms of entertainment are a great distraction for youngsters because with any beep, any notification beep, leads to these mind-devastating features, leads to these mind altering. Let me try to get a good one there. Here, by the way, they would write something like order of words. Okay, so instead of beep for notification, it should be notification beep. So watch your adjective nouns. Okay, leads to these mind. I don't want to say distracting because you've used the word distraction up here as well. So leads to, I would say something like interrupting the mind. Okay, that would be a little bit more natural. Okay, leads to interrupting the mind. As there are, okay, this is word form mistake. So instead of there, T-H-E-I-R, it should be T-H-E-R-E. So this would be a word form, okay. As there are a lot, okay, of applications today that push notifications on mobiles instead of lock screens. Instead of therefore, you don't need therefore because it's a double conjunction. You have as here, Harwinder, so you don't need therefore. So avoid, this is very confusing, so avoid double use of conjunctions. Let me make the screen a little bit smaller so you can actually see my commenting here as well. Hopefully you can read that. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure that that's clear. So avoid double use of conjunctions. In this case, as plus therefore. Okay, so don't do that, all right? Let me move this slightly, or I can maybe make it a bit smaller. If it's becoming too small for you to read, let me know because I know many of you are using mobile, okay? So therefore, there is a high probability to fall into this trap, okay? For instance, once my friend and I, we don't say friend and me, we say friend and I, and here you wrote sit down for a school assignment. Once means that it was in the past, okay? So here this would be sat down, okay? So here it's verb tense mistake. Okay, sat down for a school assignment at my home with a lot of ting-tongs, sure. So on his phone, we need some clarity here. Okay, so he ended up using his smartphone and this distracted him. This is where you can use therefore. Therefore, we consumed much more time than needed to get the work done. Okay, finish your sentence here. Okay, so that's all the mistakes. Let me read it with the corrected version. Okay, Harwinders. So instantaneous forms of entertainment are a great distraction for youngsters because with notification beeps, lead to interruption of the mind. As there are a lot of applications today that push notifications on mobile phones, there is a high probability to fall into this trap. For instance, once my friend and I sat down for a school assignment at my home with a lot of ting-tongs on his phone, so he ended up using his smartphone and this distracted him. Therefore, we consumed much more time than needed to get the work done. This would be your perfect paragraph and you would get a great score for that, Band 8 or Band 9. The original would be about a band 5, okay? So this is a band 5 to a change to a band 9. And again, an IELTS examiner is not going to make all of these corrections when they're marking the essay. In my opinion, they should, but they don't have enough time to do that, okay? However, in their mind, they are kind of cataloging this, and they have like a sheet, okay, that has some points on it, like lexical resource, spelling, grammar, and anytime they see you make a mistake, they'll give a mark that you're basically losing a mark for lexical resource, or that you're losing a mark for spelling. Anytime that they see a spelling mistake. If they see this kind of grammar mistake where you use sit instead of sat, you use distract instead of distracted, consume instead of consumed, each time they'll give you one kind of bad mark for using the wrong verb tense, and you'll lose marks for that, okay? So that's how it works, Harwinders. So that's why it's really good to get this kind of feedback for your work, so that you know where to improve, okay? So I went really far down that rabbit hole, but hopefully that makes sense, okay? Witty Lad says it's a bit discombobulated, okay? Harwinder says, okay, it's much more improved now. Yeah, so that's what you want to do, okay? All right. Everybody's got it clear. Okay, Harwinder says, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, you're very, very welcome, Harwinder. Harwinder, really pay attention to your verb tense. That can really hurt your mark, okay? So clear grammar. Okay, so now we're going to write a conclusion for this paragraph, or for this essay, I should say. When we're doing this, keep it simple. So start with in conclusion. Okay. In conclusion. Short forms of fun do have a big deficit on long-term attention for juveniles, because it impacts their mind and body in negative ways. Namely, this form of entertainment leads to addiction and distraction. Therefore, it is a good idea to limit the amount of time spent with media that is designed for instant gratification. Okay? So something like that. So here for the conclusion, I'm simply restating my points, I'm strengthening my argument, and I'm giving a take-home message. Let me just plop that in at the end of the essay. Okay? So there you have it. That's how it looks for that. Let me see, make sure that you can still see this clearly. Okay, there we go. All right. And again, you want to read the whole essay from the beginning one more time all the way to the end once you finish the essay, okay? And make corrections. This is when you're practicing at home. In the real IELTS exam, it's a really good idea to read your essay before you finish your writing section so that you can make corrections to grammar, spelling, and information as much as possible, okay? So here, let's do this. Let's go over this one more time. So millions of youth spend significant portions of their days with short forms of entertainment. Many individuals and companies produce short videos, pictures, and other content to cater to children's curious nature and desire for instant gratification. I believe that short forms of amusement do have a negative impact on children's attention spans, as it is both addictive and distracting. Short forms of entertainment can become a habitual behavior that creates stress for children, especially when they are not getting these stimuli frequently. This stress leads to an inability to focus on long tasks. Many youth who spend hours a day on quick videos like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts build up a neurological dependence, and their body craves this more and more, so they are not able to complete hour-long tasks like schoolwork. My cousin John is often looking at memes and reels on his phone instead of doing his homework because otherwise he becomes depressed. Clearly, this is one way that quick forms of fun are bad for the attention span. Quick media fun is extremely bad for youth to pay attention for long durations, as it constantly interrupts the activity with sounds and notifications. Since the widespread use of mobile devices, youth have been getting pings and vibrations in their pockets, drawing their attention to the latest posts and their friends' messages, which they look at instead of paying attention to their teacher and responsibilities. A teenager these days gets an average of 200 notifications each day. My cousin John was sent home from school last week because he interrupted the class several times by playing with his phone. In conclusion, short forms of fun do have a big deficit on long-term attention for juveniles because it impacts their mind and body in negative ways. Namely, this form of entertainment leads to addiction and distraction. Therefore, it is a good idea to limit the amount of time spent with media that is designed for instant gratification. The time one spends with media that is designed for instant gratification. Okay, so I'm happy with my essay now. It looks good. Okay, I'm just going to accept or delete all comments. There we go, so you can see it all clearly. So that's the full essay, everyone, and that should get me a good band score. I could work more and more on this, make it even more concise, shorter, more punchy, and that's what you want to practice at home. But as long as you're doing this, you are on the right task. That's all the time I have for today, everyone, for this class, but I do hope that you've picked up a lot of good pointers to help you with your next IELTS exam of what to pay attention to. Definitely get feedback, definitely get marking on your writing. It's essential for your improvement. You can get help with your writing on our websites at aehelp.com, gltshelp.com. Again, our websites, they look like this. This is our general IELTS website here. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. And our academic IELTS website looks like this here. Let me show you. Again, you can click this big red button here to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and the good news is that today and tomorrow we do have our Black Friday discount code going on. It's a 40% discount for today and tomorrow. So definitely check that out, BLKFDA. Have an awesome rest of your day, everyone. I will be back tomorrow with reading and speaking part 2. So we're going to do a reading exercise with a passage from one of our exams, and we will also do speaking part 2, the long part, the cue card. Thank you so much, Carolina, for moderating the chat and for helping so many other students. Jason Hyun, thank you for sending me your love. That's fantastic. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Much love to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Bye for now.